Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. I basically watched the Brooklyn Nets and the Phoenix Suns game. I didn't look at the Ja Morant game with I'll watch that later. There's a lot of games I got to catch up on, but like I said, I pick and choose what to watch. The Brooklyn Nets at first was terrible in the first half. Defensively they're just not going to be good. If they can hold a team under 120, I believe they can win the game. But James Harden brought them back, like Joe Harris and the supporting cast, Tyler Johnson, Shamet. Jeff Green. Jeff Green just went out of his mind at the end of the game, and then James Harden just hit two big shots, one down the lane, splitting the double team, and then hitting the three in Bridges' eye. And Devin Booker choked at the end. And this is what I don't understand. You guys are praising LeBrownies for playing against a Minnesota Timberwolves team who is not as talented or to me as good as the Phoenix Suns. James Harden beat the Phoenix Suns. Like, him and his squad beat Phoenix. And Phoenix was beating them by like 20-some points. And nobody really is talking about it. You know, that just shows that the league is really not for these guys. And it just continues to show you the bias. The biasness of the sports game, of everything, of what everything is. And you know, this is just something that this is just something that to me continues to go on why I root for these guys to do well. You know, to me, if they just add a big guy in the middle, they'll be fine. And then you could bring DeAndre Jordan off the bench. To me, these guys are not only great, you know, I just feel like James Harden showed a lot of resilience in that game. Now, he still could turn back into James Chokeden now. Let's not put that out there, but let's not get away from that. But this game to me was probably one of his best games he's played. He's out there with spare parts. It's not really out there with anybody who you would consider a threat. So that's just what I'm saying. We have to look at the totality of the game. You know, and this is what pisses me off is that we're going to talk about this guy, LeBrownies, doing what the hell he's supposed to do. You're supposed to beat Minnesota. Like, what's up with all this sack riding? All this sack riding, man. It's just getting on my nerves, man. Like, I've never seen when Michael Jordan beat like a Timberwolves team back in the day who really wasn't nothing, or a New Jersey Nets team. He didn't go out there. They didn't go talk about Michael had this and that on Mike. Mike was like, whatever. But this guy out there flexing his muscle like, man, we got it under control. AD got your back when you come back. It's like, come on, dog. Like, all of this stuff is so damn fake. And this is why I'm disinterested in the NBA. I just really am. I pick and choose what games to watch, but some of them, they're just so boring. I fall asleep on them. The game is boring. Everybody's shooting threes. What the Brooklyn Nets did was they played half court. They ran their half court sets. They attacked the basket. They weren't settling just for threes. Defensively, they were switching better. They took a stance and said, look, we're going to have to play a little bit of defense. And they did. They played a little bit of defense, but what messed Phoenix up, Phoenix, you're trying to run and you got a 20-point lead. And then you're shooting these threes and you got a 20-point lead. You didn't need a three. What you needed to do was throw the ball to Aiden down low and work the game with him. For some reason, Phoenix just does not trust Aiden. I don't know what it is. I think it might be Aiden. He might not have the skill set to take over games late. So I don't know what it is. So I don't know what it is. I don't get it. It's just, to me, I don't understand, like, what the hell is going on. So it's like, what's the deal? What's the deal? And what's really going on? Like, you have a team like Devin Booker. To me, is overrated. Like, I don't care what anybody tells me. I just do not like Devin Booker. To me, he's overrated. I think he's a pompous brat. I think he's spoiled. I think that he's a fake tough guy. He tries to be tough, always want to be all in people's face. I just don't buy it. Chris Paul, to me, should have kept shooting the ball at the end and not pass up to no damn Jay Crowder. Are you serious? Jay Crowder, you're going to give it to him in the last seconds? Come on, Chris Paul. That's your problem. Your decision making down the stretch. But James Chokeden came through. He did his job. It was a great game at the end. And he showed that he can help the team in a lot of ways. He really ran the sets. He got everybody in position. He got the ball to guys' shot pockets. Joe Harris, they do not need to get rid of Joe Harris. Joe Harris is on my team. I'm sorry. If you get rid of Joe Harris, you're going to suffer. Tyler Johnson, they listened to me. They played him a lot more than Shamet, which they should have been doing. Tyler Johnson is very underrated. I watched him in Miami. He was good in Miami. He could play defense. He can also score the ball. He can go to the lane. He can dribble and drive. He can play you. He can go one-on-one with you, or he can shoot off the picks, or he can play off the ball. He doesn't need it in his hand. The guy is a two guard. He's just undersized, but he can handle the ball as well. And then you have Brown. Brown is their best defender. Brown and Cabarro were getting in Booker's face. They were battling with Aiden. They would bring three guys to get on Aiden, and then they'll pass it out. As soon as he pass it out, they'll jump onto their guys. They really didn't respect the Suns. And in the clutch, the Suns looked terrible. It was Chris Paul or bust. If Chris Paul didn't hit the shots he needed to hit, it was over. Like, they were not good. They were probably gonna lose the lead and get beat by 5 or 8 if Chris Paul wasn't going hot at the end, because they were losing it. So congratulations to James Chokeden, man. You came through. You did your thing. Now we got to see what you do in the playoffs. Like, that's the point of this. But why isn't he being talked about? But y'all talking about LEbrownies beating the Minnesota T-Wolves? Come on, man. Stop it. We got to do better, man. But Brooklyn is in second place, and they're dangerous. If they can just add some better defense and add a rim protector, they're going to be tough to beat. Seriously, I see them coming out the East, because everybody else is not impressing me. The Bucks, they can't close, and they have too many mental lapses during the game. The Pacers, they play to their competition, but they're up and down. They're really not consistent. They're very up and downish. let me see the oh no, not this one. Let's see. I gotta look at the standings real quick, you guys. Okay. Philadelphia is probably the complete team to me, but they're on a losing streak. They really need Embiid back. Because the other night down the stretch, they struggled. Ben Simmons, he needs to learn a post game. He needs to learn how to post up. He needs to learn how to work on a post game. If he's not going to shoot a three, you got to have a post game. You got to put him down low. The Bucks, like I said, I don't trust them down the stretch or doing clutch parts of the game. They're not that good to me. Boston, we still got to see Tatum and Brown. To me, Brown's the most talented one of all of them, but he's a beta. He has a beta personality. Tatum has to step up if Boston wants to go to that next level. The Pacers, they're too up and down to me. They're average. The Knicks adding Derrick Rose, that's going to push them. I think those guys will at least get to I think they could get to the 5th seed. They could get to the 5th or 4th seed, depending on how, because I like their team. And LB So Wavy, you're right, man. The Knicks are a good team, man. Yeah, you were right. Them boys could make the playoffs. They just have to sustain. We don't know if they can sustain now. The Raptors, they're coming back because Kyle Lowry he got hurt, but Fred VanVleet is showing that he's the guy of that team. He's the man. And everybody else just needs to fall in line. Pascal is a number 2 or 3 option. Keep going to Fred VanVleet. You'll be all right. I think the Raptors could battle for the 5th, 6th, or 7th seed. The Charlotte Hornets, they're doing well right now. But the Charlotte Hornets is a young team, man. They're playing with young energy. We'll see after the halfway mark. We'll see how they are, if they can sustain. Them and the Knicks, I want to see if they can sustain. The Bulls, they're in that run in the fight for the 7th and 8th seed, that little playoff thing they're going to have. The Bulls looked good on the other night. The thing with them is they just have to learn how to move the ball better. And they have to sustain as well. The Miami Heat, I think the Miami Heat are going to be fine. I think they're going to catch fire. They're only 1 or 2 games out of the 6th seed. So I believe they could take that easily to me. To me, I think they could go and take that. I think the Heat will make the playoffs. I just think they finally got all their players together, and Jimmy Butler, he finally is past that COVID, even though he's still feeling the effects. Atlanta Hawks, they're disappointing because Collins and Trae Young are not getting along. For some reason, I think John Collins wants a bigger deal, and I think he feels he should be the guy of the team, but it's Trae Young's team, so they're probably going to move Collins before the trade deadline. If not, I don't see Atlanta making it to the playoffs because those two are bumping heads right now. My Magic, they're done. Like I said, folks got hurt, but they still have a chance. All they got to do is get on a 3-4 game winning streak, and they can end up back in the race for the last 2 seeds of the playoffs. And the Cavs, they're trading Drummond. They'll be all right. The Wizards, they're not too far out of it. They're like 2 or 3 games behind. And they can still get there. Detroit could go on a run. Like I said, the East, the bottom half of the East, from 5 to like all the way to 15 is up for grabs. Like anybody could win or lose. Those teams to me are average. To me, it's going to come down to Philly, Boston, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn. It's going to come down to them 4 teams really at the end of the season. Western Conference, the Jazz are playing the best ball, really. They're playing the best ball. Jordan Clarkson is playing out of his mind. Bogdanovich and Donovan Mitchell are coexisting, and Donovan Mitchell doesn't need to take all the shots. You got Bogdan, you got and then what I like is they got Joe Ingles off the bench running the point. Now, Michael Conley is hurt, but Ingles running the point to me is a little better because he can see over the defenders and he can handle the ball pretty well. Derek Favors was a great pickup to come back to Utah. Rudy Gobert, they're utilizing him more. He's getting the ball and making some passes out the blocks or at the top of the key, and he can get it off a pick and roll, alley-oop dunk. Same thing Blake used to do back in the day. The Lakers are going to get carried by the refs, and AD should be back in a couple weeks, and the Lakers are going to stay in that state. I see the Lakers, they're going to keep the Lakers afloat. The refs are going to keep them afloat. The Lakers just need an athletic big man in the middle, and they'll be just fine. The Clippers to me have been playing the second best ball of everybody. Kawhi and Paul have been out, Pat Beverly been out, but they're still winning. Lou Williams is stepping up. I don't know if it's because he's hearing trade talks, trade chatter, and he's trying to show off for another team to come in and get him, but Lou's balling. I would not get rid of Lou just yet. I would wait. I would still get rid of Reggie Jackson and go get that point guard, because that's all they need is a backup point guard. If they get a backup point guard, all the pieces will fall in place. That's just the truth. Portland surprised me the other night. They're playing defense. Carmelo, they're allowing Carmelo to close at the end. That's very interesting. With CJ being out, to me, this team looks a lot better. They should have been moved on from CJ 3 or 4 years ago. I've been saying this. They have a better team. Robert Covington, that was a great pickup. Derrick Jones. Miami is really missing Derrick Jones right now, because not only was Derrick Jones athletic, he could play defense. He could guard 1 through 3 positions and sometimes the stretch fours because of his length. And then you got Kanter. I can't even lie. Enes Kanter fits Portland better than he's played any. He don't need to go anywhere else. He needs to stay in Portland, because he can offensive rebound, he can box out, he can make things happen. And his toughness, he's very tough. He's tough. Kanter's doing what he's supposed to do. Their bench, Gary Trent Jr. coming in, hitting threes. I love their bench, man. They got another guy, Anthony. I think it's Anthony Smith or something. He was named after Penny Hardaway. I like him too, because he's a switch of pace point. He's a switch of pace guard. He knows how to run the point. He can have the game slow down, and then he can speed it up. And they got another guy, I can't think of his name. Real dark dude. He's good. He's a great wing defender. He reminds me of an old school wing defender back in the day. What's the dude's name? Like a James Posey. He could defend any 1 through 4. Very good guy, very versatile. They've been playing well. I think Nurkic is out, I think. But they've been doing well, man, with the pieces they've got. Phoenix, like I said, Phoenix problem to me is experience, and they need to run the offense more through Aiden. I think they leave Aiden out of the rotation a lot, getting the ball, and I think Aiden becomes disinterested, and he just kind of doesn't play. They don't run it. They run it around Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Look, man, run it around Aiden and let Aiden get the ball. Aiden should be averaging 23 and 15. That's what he should be averaging, 23 or 24 and 15. That's what he should be averaging. And right now, I think he's averaging in the teens, 15 or 16 and barely 10 or 11 boards. That's not good, man, for a big man, especially in this NBA. This NBA ain't got that many big men. The Spurs are going to be the Spurs, man. DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, the fourth, is balling out. LaMarcus and DeRozan don't have to really do nothing. They're just sitting there. They're just riding the wave, and then Patty Mills coming off the bench, as well as he could start as well for you. The Spurs are going to be dangerous. The Spurs are always going to be in that echelon of player. The Denver Nuggets, they're really missing Jeremy Grant. If they had Jeremy Grant, this team would be in the 4th or 3rd seed. That's all they're missing is their wing defenders. Their team what I need out of Denver is consistency. The Joker has to stay consistent, but Jamal Murray has got to step up. Murray can't go 4 or 5 games putting up 12 or 13 points. We need you putting it up in the 20s, man. We need you doing that. Golden State, they need to fire Steve Kerr. If Golden State fires Steve Kerr and get a real coach in there, Golden State should be in the 3rd or 4th seed. Seriously. They got too much talent to be in the damn 8th seed. That's mind-boggling. Memphis, I don't know what's going on with Memphis. Memphis, they were doing good for a minute, then they're back into the the other players. I think I gotta watch their game with the Pelicans. I think they got screwed a little bit in that game because they're trying to get the Pelicans in. Dallas is below average. I don't see them as a threat, even if they get to the playoffs. I think they're a first round exiting out. Me personally, I think they'll be out in the first round. New Orleans, if New Orleans get hot, like I said, Sacramento and New Orleans, I believe, are gonna bump Dallas and Memphis out. I just have a feeling they're gonna bump them out of that 7-10 playoff, that little mini playoff or mini tournament. So I believe they'll do that. Seriously, the Houston Rockets, they're coming back to earth. They've lost 6. It's a learning experience. They just got to keep gelling together. But if they make a run, Houston can make it. OKC is just young. They're just making mental mistakes. They got to get experience. If they gain experience, OKC will be dangerous. Not this year, but next year they'll definitely be better. The T-Wolves, Cat's been out. So now that they got Cat back, let's see what they do. I think they could probably make a push for the 13th or 12th spot. I don't think they'll get to the 7th or 10th. But hey, anything has happened. The NBA is all about runs and how many games you can win in a row. That's my assessment of everything. Let me know in the comment section, man, like, who you feeling? Who do you like the most? Who do you feel will be dangerous? But shame on the news and the sports news and all you content creators for not giving James Chokeden his due. James Chokeden should have got the praise today, not that bum LeBrownies. I'm out. Deezy.